Yeah,
I don't remember.
yeah, they have several people.
No, not very brown, regional.
Anything's happening.
I'm trying.
Gonna promote Angie to a panelist. She's not feeling well today, so she's gonna join via Zoom.
A lot of people not feeling well.
Yeah, it's just that time of year. Right.
Back to school?
Yeah.
Back to
Crud.
see anything? I didn't.
Minutes?
Oh,
No, I didn't read them. No, there.
Angie, can you hear us?
Hi, I can hear you.
Okay, let's see, why is that so quiet? Um. oh, Hold on,
No problem.
am I recording? No. Changed it again, right? Right there, yes, I'm recording. Okay, we're good.
All right, let's get it started here. Please stand for the pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, folks, thanks for coming. This is my agenda page.
It's on page 3 of your packet.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, there,
Oh,
sorry. Right there.
So the only announcement that I have is that, as a reminder, the convention is November 7th through 9th in Portland. If you want to attend, let Sandra know, she'll get registered. I believe that the headquarter hotel is obviously already all booked up. And just as an FYI, doesn't mean anything, but that is 2 days after the election. So it's possible that there could be some
Shenanigans
happening in downtown Portland. It's always possible. So, I just felt like you should be aware of that. And so just keep that in your mind. So Sandra will take care of you if you want to go.
Very good. Introduction announcements with public forum. If anybody wants to sign up in the back. Announcements. We already did that. Approval minutes then.
The Service District #1 Board of Directors approves the minutes from the regular session, August 15th, 2024, and the working session from August 29th, 2024.
We have a motion.
Second.
Got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you, Angie. We heard you.
Sorry, we got. Okay, public forum after this, public participation of, board meetings. Statements by the members of the public should be brief and concise. The chairperson may, at his or her discretion, establish a time limit on discussions of oral presentations by visitors of any topic. Speakers may offer objective criticism of school operations and programs, but the board will not hear complaints concerning individual school personnel. Chairperson will direct complaints to the appropriate means for board consideration and disposition of legitimate complaints involving individuals. At this time, members of the public are invited to present their concern to the board. We have anybody signed up?
No one signed up? No one in the audience?
Anybody out there
No.
waving their hand?
No.
All right. Okay.
Student reports. We have 2 students with us tonight.
Yay!
We have Gabby and Lucero. Want to come up here?
Very good. I always find it. Hello, ladies. Thanks for coming.
How she mentioned, my name's Gabby and Sarah.
Okay, I'm gonna start off by talking about Willamette Career Academy. We currently have 32 students enrolled this year. We're excited about the opportunities they have available for them. We have 10 returning students and 22 new students enrolled in 7 CET programs, including the brand new dental assisting program. Included in the number of 2 students who are homeschooled but live in our district as well. This is the first time we have the opportunity to include homeschooled students into our Jervis Career Academy with the family too. And now moving on to leadership. Once again, leadership has started running. We have a great mix of students and interests this year. We are looking forward to fresh ideas. The end of August gave us opportunity to visit with newly enrolled students and give school tours.
We also conducted an assembly for freshman orientation and helped students with lockers, locating classroom, providing smiles and friendship. We also held assembly on the first day of school for the entire whole body student.
We're currently working on clubs and activity assemblies as well as student of the month assembly for next week.
We're heading up to the Bauman Farm Festival to provide volunteer hours and as much fun for clubs and sports. As a leadership team, we're excited to fund these for our efforts to celebrate our staff during classified and certified weeks next week.
Homecoming is coming up, so that's scheduled for the week of October 14th through the 19th. In the theme of Jervis High, where core memories are made, using the movie Inside Out as an inspiration.
We're helping to promote September as the Suicide Prevention Month, as well as planning themes for the Spanish Heritage Month that runs from mid-September to mid-October. We also started planning our prom for next spring.
Leadership is also looking forward to attending the Oregon Association of Student Council 2-day Fall Leadership Conference in November. We're excited to settle into our new school year and into our roles as student leaders.
FFA first meeting for the FFA was September 17th, and we had a surprise party for our advisor. We decorated the room while she went to get food as all the officers. Since I'm part of the officer, I am the sentinel for this year. And on Oktoberfest, we had help in my angel, and we had 57 volunteers completed their community service hours.
And National Honor Society had their first meeting as well, discussing what roles they have to play in and their leadership skills. Jervis football is now currently ranked 4th in state. We're always having students come and cheer for their teams. Boys soccer, their first league game for the boys was September 17th at Dayton, currently ranked #1 league. We're hoping to see them improve as they had a tied 0-0. We'll be waiting for them to see them in playoffs this year. And girls soccer is this year, 3rd year. The team is combined with Kennedy. So far, we're recruiting more players this year, making it a stronger bond.
Cross country, the guys, we had recently just recruited more guys. And the girls, we've been recruiting, but it's hard to get girls. So last week we had the guys first meet, as well Junior and Angel have continue improving. And the girls overall were keeping it close as they have, as well as the guys. So far, the season is going good.
And volleyball, they have new students from like the middle school coming in. So they have a lot more to grow and new talent. We're wishing them the best for their season to come.
Yearbook this year is a class, is also a club to help contribute to the yearbook this year. They have a fall media day in November at U of O.
And that's pretty much it for
Yeah.
my today.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, that was
Do you
great.
want to ask them that from the student perspective, how the cell phone policy is going?
Yeah, I'm
very
curious.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us your thoughts first and then what the rest of the student body thinks?
Well,
Be honest.
Okay, well, I guess I'd just say, like, okay, I feel like it actually helped me generally, because I remember last year, I was low-key a little distracted. I feel like for me, it helped me out, so,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
I don't know about other students are like, no, don't like them, it just depends on who you ask.
Okay, okay, you made to target me. Well, I think it doesn't, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't really work, because some classes, like for welding, why should we put it if we're gonna be out in the shop, like we're not near the class building, like we're literally, here's the welding, and here's our school. So like, why would I need it for my sixth period if yeah. And then like for some classes, like in English, we already can't use our phones, cause like depending on the teacher, they don't let you. And for other classes, like there's not needed unless we want to listen to music. Cause unless you want to go message for some other people, but I don't think so. It's kind of working. Kind of like no one's using it. No one's have been really informed to put it on unless you're really being.
So they're not
distracted.
using the lockers necessarily,
No,
but are they having their phones out?
like no.
Yeah.
That was the goal.
Yeah.
The goal was not use them in class.
Okay.
That's the goal. It wasn't just to put them in a locker,
Okay.
say it's in a locker. The goal is to not use it in class.
But some people also don't feel, they're like, why are we putting them in there? What if something happens?
Yeah.
They're like, something's breaking.
Because it takes forever.
Like,
so-
It's hard to close and open at times. You just-
Yeah, because for some classes, you have to do it in the first and the second, and then also we can have our backpacks in the class, so we have to put it in a locker. It takes like 5 minutes, sit down, be ready, and if you forget something, you gotta go back up, and then we have to take 5 minutes out of the class and get them again. It just takes,
Well, maybe it'll make you more organized.
But it seems that people are following the guidelines, please don't use your cell phone
Yeah.
in class. So the lockers are nice for those people that can't seem to make that choice.
The ones that are more distant like you guys. you know.
Some people might need some encouragement.
yeah.
So,
And actually on some other schools, don't have it at all. They
Yeah.
have little lockers. This was actually, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty,
It's
like,
pretty good
pretty
also.
soft,
Yeah,
really, in a
because-
lot of ways.
Yeah, I've heard that they
Yeah.
don't have it school, and us on the other hand, we
Yeah.
can use it still during lunch or passing time, and
Yeah.
we still get past.
Yeah, because I know from other states and other schools, yeah, like Idaho and like California, it's all different.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But it is a trend that everybody's going toward.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely because of the,
Yeah. Like
low key distraction.
Yeah, I used that as my argument essay for my English class because current topic, everybody's talking about it.
oh, you're all talking?
Yeah. Well,
Another goal. Another one is,
yeah.
We're giving you a hard time.
Thank you.
For the
Yeah,
superb
thank you.
answer to our
Yes,
question.
thank you very much.
I'm ready.
You guys can-
Good enough, guys.
Thank you. Okay, we have Dusty up next. I can share the screen.
Okay.
Oh,
And then you want me to advance or you want to advance?
Ed. Nobody's dancing anyway. Hold on just a second. Oh, may.
Dusty, while we're waiting, have you started that little reading program again with kids?
The interventions?
The where people come in and read with kindergartners and.
So we
such?
don't have smart readers in right now.
Yeah,
We do have
smart-
reading
smart
intervention
reading.
going.
Okay. That's the one.
Yeah, and we need more partners. For that, like on the smart readers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I would be more than willing to help you.
We'd love to have you, yeah.
Yeah, because I did it the first year you guys did it.
Yeah.
It was pretty nice.
So we're gonna go with this view,
We can look
because
at it.
otherwise.
That's fantastic, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So, thank you. love being here better in person than on the Zoom. Afterwards, I'm going to dash out to some church meetings, so excuse me afterwards. But I just want to share just a few things from the school. So last year, to all of our staff, we gave a shirt that Jervis Elementary is a place where each person belongs. And that was a big push last year, was the sense of belonging. And this year, it's really kind of holding ourselves to a higher standard, both as staff and as students, that we're reaching for greatness every day in everything that we do, from our bus drivers to our kitchen staff, our custodian, our teachers, our IAs, our students. And in an opening assembly, we talked about what that means. And it's really striving, stretching, growing, working hard to be the greatest version of ourselves possible in and out of the classroom. And so on the next one, we also, from the core values in the strategic plan, then we identify priorities. Like, these are the things that we really want to get done right this year. And so amongst those, for equity, it's really ensuring that there's access and inclusion for each family in our school. And that equity lens is going to be a big part of that as we use that in each of our decision-making groups. With integrity, it's so far as the adopted curriculum, the framework for teaching, and we want to increase student engagement in academic rigor for each student. And then for excellence, it's really providing targeted academic interventions for each student. That's reading, that's math, that's ELD and behavior support. For relationships, we really want to build connections and support for each student and their families through a lot of attendance, behavior, and counseling interventions. And then finally, just create the sense of community, this feeling that each student, each family, like, this is our community school. And really pushing hard this year, more family volunteers, and not just on field trips and activities, but in the classroom. And then we took the challenge. So Dr. Charlene Williams, the OD director, came out during summer school in a really cool visit. And this is our graders presenting to her these really great pictures that they had written her letters. And it was really fun. They had David, who's standing right next to her, had written one. And he's like, is the governor really going to read this? And she did. That was the very letter that later Creighton presented to her. But she later issued this challenge to all educators in Oregon. And this is something we took upon us personally. So please take the first few weeks to call each and every family in your class to really create a connection, a positive connection with them. Let them know that you're excited to have them in the class. And so this was the challenge to our staff, the very beginning, is that over the course of the first few weeks to contact every single family in the classroom. And I think our lower grades, for them, this comes very natural to them. Our younger grades are always communicating with families. I think for some of our upper grade teachers, it's a little more out of their comfort zone. And so again, but really pushing and accepting this challenge. So here's the shirt that we've got. And I just love that we've been selling these really cheap to kids, wearing them on Fridays. Troy here is in our FLC classroom. Love this little kid, but just how excited he is to be at Jervis and on Twin Day, right? Friday, it's pretty fun to see this. Here we have Miss Wilson, our kinder teacher, with her kiddos. But just, I think that message is really powerful, that, like, I'm proud to be at Jervis, but I am reaching for greatness every day. So we really want kids to know that that's what we're striving for. So how are we doing that? We've been blessed with a phenomenal group of teachers, and it's kind of an interesting dynamic now. We have some very veteran teachers who've been here their entire careers in student teaching, but we've also hired a lot of new teachers. Some of them come with a lot of experience, but as you walk those hallways, it's a pretty amazing dynamic group of teachers that we have. Just in this particular walkthrough yesterday, Taryn Hurst is new to us. She's our only fully bilingual teacher, which we are so grateful to have, because she just happens to have 5 newcomers in her class and is able to serve them in some really powerful ways. But just watching their interactions with kids, our teachers know and care about our kids in really powerful ways. On the right, this is coming from Jamie Poissant's room. Twig Science is our new adoption, and it's very interactive. It has very expensive kits because they're doing a lot of science, but it's been really fun to see just how hands-on they are and the level of inquiry and curiosity that it's driving. But again, some pretty amazing stuff happening in the classrooms. In addition to that, though, are all of these different layers of interventions to really meet kids where they're at. So with the reading and math interventions, you couldn't put together a more powerful group of educators in one room, and they are in one room. And so this is, at one time, it's not a panorama, but it's shot from one side to the other. You literally have 7 different small groups going on right now. 4 of them are reading under the direction of our reading specialist, Cindy Smith. 3 of them are under our direction of our math specialist, Stephanie So. And it's amazing. You walk in the room and there's a hum, but every kid is just dialed in, focused, engaged, and talking in really powerful ways. And they tested every 390 students in our school And they did that within 8 days to launch those interventions right away. And they've targeted and leveled all of those groups. And it's absolutely inspiring to watch what's happening. And so we've got a reading curriculum and a math curriculum that align with our classroom curriculum as well. So it's pretty awesome to watch what's happening there in that space. Also, we have a phenomenal support team as well. When you look at our learning specialist, Stacy Helm, we look at our new counselor, Julie Schnell, our school psychologist, Ricardo Jimenez, and our behavior specialist, Barb Post, like you couldn't pick a greater dream team, who really are so proactive. Their schedules are just chock full, kids all day long. And that's on their own initiative. If they don't have a kid coming to them, they're going to kids. And it's absolutely amazing to watch. And so last year, this time, we had this many high flyers that it was one-on-one, all day kind of stuff, very violent tantrums. We had to decommission an entire workroom and create it into the blue room, the calming room, the boring room. Kids called it all sorts of different things. But we had to strip it down because they were literally tearing cabinets off the walls and base molding off. And I haven't used that room in that capacity since last November because our staff were able to meet them in their needs. Now, we still have our struggles, no doubt, but I think we've got the right people, the right training, the right hearts involved to really meet these kids where they're at. And it's absolutely amazing. So not only are we going to see a tremendous academic growth, but you're going to see a lot of the social emotional learning growth. And it's pretty great. In our functional learning center, this has been a challenging year. Like I think the heat in the school, it's been in this room. We have a handful of new kiddos and very, very, very challenging behaviors. And I know about a week ago that staff was just about at their breaking point. And to their credit, rallied around each other and really just passionate and courageous ways. When there's hard days, there's no hard days quite like we have to see. And again, you've got staff there who love these kids. And I don't think there's many adults who would put up with what they put up with and just still love so fearlessly and so unconditionally. And so it's really inspiring to see, but I appreciate the district, Dr. Helms in particular, has been so supportive. And we're partnering with, from the WSD. So there's a lot of resources going into this space. And we're seeing a lot of positive changes. But again, these are some kids who, it's a long game here. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time to really help support some of these kiddos, but it's been hard. There's just no way to.
How many kids you have in?
Yeah, so we got about 11 right now. Yeah. And it's really, it's 2 to 3 that are quite challenging.
Yeah.
And those 2 to 3 can give you a run for the money.
Right.
Literally a run for the money. Yes. Just a couple happenings. Open house was fantastic. It was fun. I mean, kids are so excited to get here with their backpacks. We had some local churches and organizations that donated brand new backpacks, just loaded full of books and games for families. And so we've been able to give those out to kids who didn't have, and they're just so excited to get that and love having those community partnerships. Open house was fantastic. We ended the week, hot week. That was the day that we went down early into the cooling station. Nice to eat the paletas, that's the best way to spend it. And so we brought paletas in, just had an absolute blast during recess with the kids. Great way to start the year. We had our first school assembly on Friday, and we talked a lot about this reaching for greatness, and we played musical chairs, and it might as well have been the Super Bowl. Energy in that room. Set up 3 different circles, so each grade had their own circle. And if you know the song Mayonesa, we were playing that. It's a Mexican song from a couple of decades ago, but it's just a fun dance song. And it was absolutely, the whole gym was just electric, but it was fun to see that. I told my new staff, hey, this is just the little kids. The older kids try to act too cool. They blew up even more. It was just it was fun, but it was great to we are excited to be in school. And so loved doing that. And then today, just all of these small partnerships that we have. So today we had vision screenings coming in, and just grateful that we can provide a lot of not just academic needs, but really whole child support from a lot of community partners coming into the school. So glad that we can do that. We are in limbo with our Latinx Student Success Grant funding. Have no idea what's going to happen there. We don't know if that's going to put a massive stop to our after-school clubs, but it will not it will not stop our family activities. Even if we have to run these with volunteers and family volunteers, these have been absolutely amazing. And so we're kicking off here in a few weeks. It's our family literacy night. Last year was a huge event. And it was amazing because coming in, we had the Woodburn bookmobile there. We had a massive table full of hundreds of books to give away. We had a bilingual book vendor from Woodburn inside selling books. We had tables where they're making bookmarks and puppets and writing their own stories. We had a whole readathon corner and a read aloud. And that was a spot where any book the kids picked, the parents had to read it. And it was fun because you look around that gym, it was packed and there wasn't cell phones out. The parents were engaged. And you walk away from an event like that, you think, I love reading with my kids. And that's the biggest takeaway for parents, just to realize, wow, like this was really easy to do. My kids responded so well. And we messaged so much the importance of reading 20 minutes every day. And that's the best bedtime routine. Just telling parents, 20 minutes, get on the bed with your little kiddo, read and talk with them. That's the best thing you can do for them at home. So we're excited about the activities happening this year. And we've got so many parents coming out. And so our next step is to now start organizing that in a greater capacity, some form of parent organization. So that's one of our big projects for this year, along with our continuous school improvement plan. So those are two big projects. Really proud of our staff. We started the in-service. We bring in all of our staff and our kitchen and our custodial and our bus drivers. And in the strategic plan, one of the goals speaks to this idea of we are Jervis, to quit splintering and labeling and subgrouping everybody, but we are Jervis. And our community is so rich and so diverse, and to celebrate all of that, to be proud of all of that. And I guess just feel very blessed, incredibly proud to work with such an amazing staff who embodies that idea of being here because we want to be here because we love the kids. And so we are Jervis Elementary.
Sounds like you're up to a great start.
Trying to. Nobody's bored. More well rested.
Is the boiler almost ready to go?
They say they're gonna try to fire it up on Monday. See,
Okay.
So the parts are here. They've been working on installation all week.
there's lots of contractor footprints up and down the hallways. And you can tell people have been working in the building, you know. But yeah, we'll see. Weather's good, so it's a good time to repair it.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Thank you, Dusty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
Right, next we have Tony.
My presentation is quick and to the point. So please, if I leave stuff out or you guys have any questions, please do.
We're gonna just do it like this.
Yes, it's okay, that works. So, I started with this, so, I have a sticker for each of you.
Oh,
So, stickers that I got, so all the staff have
Yeah.
it. And,
Go on my water bottle with
Yeah.
the other one.
yeah. And, so students get these when they get, I started last year to do, I call it a paw, it's a little sticker that they get that for being positive. And it can be from literally helping somebody pick up something that fell or doing really well on a test. Anything that's positive, any staff member can give it out. And the kids come to me and they write their little name on it. And then this year they're getting a sticker, so they have something permanent now that they can put on their water bottle or their binder. And then they get, the real exciting part is a chocolate bar they pick. So, and then I have a bulletin board that's about the size of that whiteboard. They decide, I give it to them and they put it up there. They love it and it stays up all year and some kids just get like a collection of them and so it's really cool. And for my staff this year, I started something similar, but I found some bigger paws that a staff member gives another staff member. And that's how we start our all staff meetings. They write their name on the front of it. And then you say, I'm giving this to Jenny because of XYZ. And then she also gets to pick a chocolate bar. So I
Is it a
have
king
chocolate
size since I'm an adult now?
It's a regular size bar. And then we are putting those outside the door so that as the year progresses, then they'll hopefully all the staff will have them up around. So we do so much all the time for students I really wanted to start doing more and recognizing the good things that the staff does. 'Cause
I
We
love that.
really,
Yeah.
so,
That's fantastic.
yeah. Enrollment is up. Woo-hoo!
Yay.
So exciting, so exciting. In the packet that I sent you, I think it says 200, which I was so excited about to put in. And then the next day we lost one. Like, no. So, but really exciting because when we left last year, we had 184 and there was rumors that it might go down a little bit and they kept coming.
Yay.
So exciting. So you can see our 8th grade is the tiny class. That is 55 students. So they will be moving up to high school. And this year's 5th grade is like at 75.
Oh,
So bring them in. We're going to be like
yeah.
bulging at the seams next year, but really, really exciting. We haven't had numbers this high for a while. So, Angie, a lot of Russian kids are coming back.
Yay.
Really exciting. to
Yeah.
see that.
I,
Really
yeah, I've been out there, I've been supporting.
Moving up.
Right.
So we did do the moving up day. That was about the week before school started in August. That's the group of kids that came. There was roughly, I would say, about 50 students that came out of the, 75-ish. It was a 4-hour day, which was more than enough time. It was beautiful weather. The big things that we did were lockers, which was a scary thing for the kids, was figuring out those lockers. We heard kids say, well, we just won't use it because they couldn't figure out. I'm like, oh, you're gonna have to use it because your phone has to go in that locker. So, yeah, so that was a big part of it. The other 2 big games that we did is we mixed kind of Amazing Race and Scavenger Hunt so that they would get a clue. They would go around in groups and literally get to run through the halls. They'd get to a certain spot. And then when they got to me, then they had to do something there. And once they did that activity, then they got their next clue and they took off and ran to the next spot. They really, really liked that. It was fun to watch because at first they were like, and then they were like, it was so, they were exhausted. The last thing was something we actually stole from outdoor school. We changed it from theirs to a Wolverine. It's a really fun game that the adults space themselves out and sit in a chair. Really nice. And the kids run around in a group and like, I will have who stole the Wolverine and you'll have where it happened and when it happened and who was with them. And they would have to run up to me and they can only ask 2 questions. And if I'm like where it happens, but they ask a when it happens, your answer is, I don't know. I don't know tells them they don't have the right category for me. But if they pick the category, and so I'm where it happens, and they say, did it happen in the gym? And it didn't, it was the cafeteria. I would say, no, it did not happen in the gym. So that told them right category, wrong place. And then they have to run to the next person.
So that's cool.
It's really, really fun. It's really, really fun. And again, the kids really, really liked it. So those were the main things we did, plus lunch. We started Wolverine Wednesday. We started up this Wednesday. But staff has called it that for years, but we're really trying to bring the students in and just showing their pride, trying to get them be proud that you're in middle school, be proud that you're a Wolverine, and just wear your colors. So like I stood there as they were coming in the morning and I had tickets because we give tickets out for prizes. And it was like, green, black, or gray. Oh, yep, you got black tennis shoes. Good job. And kids always wear black. But all of a sudden on Wednesday, it was a Wolverine thing.
Yeah.
So they got tickets for doing that. So toe-to-toe boxing was something we started last year. It was pretty successful. Kids really liked it. So we have started it again this year. The one and how we're paying for this is from last year's Latinx grant. We had just a small amount of money left. So we immediately, Karen kind of put a thing out, said, hey, if you're interested. So I immediately jumped on it and said, let's get a contract for this guy. Let's get it paid for this year and use that Latinx money because that ended as of like tomorrow. So we got that done very quickly. So he is booked through the year, school year for that. So this was actually taken on Tuesday when he was there with some kids. We started just this week. We're selling concessions at the home games. This is all the stuff that we're selling. It's really easy. So we don't have a popcorn popper. We're not gonna do stuff. It's easy packaged stuff. We're selling it pretty inexpensive, just a way to kind of make some money, for things. So when we did that, yesterday and we did it, we only had it open for an hour. We made like 35 bucks. So I think it will be a good little money-making thing. Remind is something new that we're gonna be starting. It's a new communication system. I have paid for it. We have contracted for it for the year. The big thing that we liked about this system is that the parents don't have to do anything. You don't have to download an app. You don't have to do anything. It's all through texting. So, I'll tell you honestly, I'm a little frustrated with them because it seems like they got our money and now it's like, come on, get us help with this. We've talked to them. Celia has been trying to sync in all the parents, all the names, and Remind is just dragging their feet. They're just, I don't know what the issue is. So we're keep hounding them because as soon as that get in, that's going to be so nice and easy that we can just blast out to the entire school or just to one particular classroom. Hey, you have a test tomorrow, and everybody looks at their texts. Me, I don't look at my emails for a week, but you do look at your text. So this is all text related. So that's kind of really it. We are hitting the road. Things, knock on wood, are going well. I took my first phone away today. It was in the pocket. They weren't using it, but our rule is the same as last year. You can't even have it in your pocket. And I had already talked to him once before, like the first day of school, because he had it out and I helped him with his locker to put it in, and he had it again today. So I took it away from him and took it to the office. But that was the first time that I have seen any phones in pockets or anything. Was the first time today. So, yeah. So it's looking good.
Very good.
Very good.
So what is going on with the Latinx funding?
Well, they had a new grant cycle.
Yeah.
So we had to put in our initial application, which we did submit. And I don't know when they're supposed to decide.
I don't know
Yeah.
either. I don't know
It's like an
either.
October deadline, and for the first year of the grant, for, our demographics, the grant is up to $85,000 only, which is different than what it would has been previously.
Which is a lot less than it
And
was.
we had $250,000.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
they have decided to use the majority of the money in this round in the first year for African-American students. And so hopefully we'll still get some money to continue some things. And then that year two of the grant would be more, significantly more money. So
So there is
It's
still
pretty- it's
a
pretty
chance that we get
frustrating.
some this year.
yeah, there's a chance. It's been very frustrating because we had such an outstanding program.
Yeah.
We were really considered an exemplar of how.
Yeah, the elementary school, boy,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
killed it.
And
Amazing.
they've had a lot of change in leadership there in that department, and
When it's a grant.
it's,
never
yeah,
done. Yeah.
you know,
You don't, yeah, so enjoy it while you have it. 'Cause you never know. Yeah.
Hmm.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Who should I give Angie's sticker to? Who can we trust to give it to?
we'll
her?
give it to Sandra. She'll make
Okay.
sure
Yeah.
that it gets.
I can pick it up.
We'll win this thing, Angie. I'm not saying you are. Thank you, guys.
Okay, Karen.
Thank you. Have a few quick things here.
As you can see, this is the first report with the new year and new figures. It's still gonna need some tweaking. Like we did last year. there were tweaks. So, we'll get it up to where we want it to be and looking, all the things that we need it to include. I kind of spoke mostly to, when you look at this report on page 34 of your board packet, you'll look at the first set of bars and they're talking about local sources. And you see the difference from the 2023 year compared to the 2024 and 2025. That's interest right at this period. At this stage, we're not seeing the income from taxes come in yet because we still book them to the prior year. So this is primarily interest, and interest rates have gone up, and so it's about double what it was before. So then the next set of graph is the state sources. And, you know, you see the increase for this year. And this year is primarily because of the numbers that we put in. And this is just based on our estimates. And so Frontier Charter, last year at this period, they were saying they thought they were going to have 363 students. And this year they're saying 418. Last year we said 852, this year 829. So between those two, it's about 32 students more, which is more on Frontier Charter's side, but that's about 300,000 more when you look at it, approximately 10,000 a student. And that's what you're seeing reflected here in the higher, you know, that gray bar being higher. But what we know is that Frontier Charter's numbers are up and our numbers are up. So this is based on an estimate. It's not based on actuals. So we're excited to see where things land once, you know, everything is settled from the fall. So then the next set is that one where we're missing a gray bar completely. And what that reflects is the beginning fund balances. And so whenever we move in the beginning fund balance, we date it back to July 1st. And so that's why those are included in there at this time, but they're not included here for us because we haven't done that yet. So kind of working through the audit and figures with that. You have the auditors coming here early October for a whole day. They'll sit and ask us for all kinds of things and
That just sounds like so much fun.
yeah, so much fun. Anyway, so that's kind of just, you know, speaking to the revenue side. And then the next page on page 35, the little expense insight down below kind of talk to the 399 purchase services being higher, which is our payments to Frontier Charter. And then also the associated payroll costs being higher by 26,000. So I dug a little deeper into what exactly that is. I had an idea what it was, and it is the insurance, the amount that we pay for our employees' insurance. So last year it was $58,042 at this time. And this year it's $83,026, which makes a difference of almost 25,000, which is that difference in associated payroll costs. So, and it can also, in some instances, could be a person who didn't take the insurance benefit last year, because these are our custodians as well. And the people who work all through the, you know, the year, they may have opted in instead of opt out. And so that could raise it up a little bit as well. That's why we always budget as if everybody is getting insurance. The one other thing I did note on page 37 that I spoke to in my board report just had to be that, you know, you see the higher bar graph here for these expenditures. And again, it's the green purchase services, Frontier Charter. They see the little raise in the payroll amount, but most of it's related to Frontier Charter. The good news, though, with all of this money coming in, is that charter school account has increased by 85,000 through the first 2 months of the year. So those are the only things I wanted to cover. Is there anything on here that you have questions about?
You answered it.
Okay, good.
There.
Good. I try to answer what I think you're gonna ask.
It's like a game.
Yeah, I know. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Funny. So many of the things that, as usual, in my report are being covered later on in the meeting. Karen and I, as I said in my report, met with transportation last week. And so we asked Brian and Diana to do some number crunching for us and look at a couple of different scenarios. And so they're working on that now. We set a goal with them to have something to the board for you to look at initially in December, with the idea that we would be approving something during the January board meeting. We want to kind of get that contract put to bed before we get really busy with bond and bargaining and budget. So that's where we're at with that. And it's a great relationship. They're very cooperative, and so we really appreciate them. In fact, they really helped us out during the cooling center. Their bus drivers are always looking for additional opportunities to make a little bit of money because they have kind of a weird shift.
Sure.
So they, are more than happy to partner with us to do some extra duties. So Brian and Diana will coordinate having people come in and cover certain things, like they were taking tickets at a game this last week. And then they'll just bill us and we'll pay their employees for that. It's a win-win because, you know, our staff gets tired of, even though they get paid for it, there's some nights where you just don't want to stay longer.
Right.
And, their drivers know our families and our kids, so it's, really good. So we're very thankful for that relationship. The SSO, that issue we'll address in executive session, so we'll go there. And, then I have the draft before, scholarship for you, we can talk about that. So that's all I really had in my report right now.
Anything on board focus? I want to say just one thing on that. On this Latinx grant thing and things there, is what we had 250? Is that what we said?
About 200
It's 200
for 2 years.
no, that was for 23-24, but they allow us this year to carry.
Carry a little bit over, yeah.
September.
Well,
200,000.
it's a great thing
Yeah.
for our school. And we have our slush fund. Is that something that instead of being called a Latinx, just call it a family whatevers and we have the capability of funding it? It's just, I'm just throwing it out there right now. So I mean, it's just, we, that account is, every year gets money. So I think I don't know if we need 200,000, I don't know what we can do with things there. So-
Yeah, we don't need $200,000. I mean, we did all sorts of extra things because we had the money, right? And so I think it would be reasonable. We could ask our administrators to look at that and decide like, okay, the activities that they did last year and what they spent the money on, what are the things that really are the biggest bang for your buck, so to speak, that really accomplishes the goals? I think also it was a really heavy ask of staff. I'm not sure that's sustainable, where every day they were teaching an after school activity for weeks on end.
Right.
So, I mean, I think if you want, we can ask Dusty and Tony, that's her name. Kind of do some number crunching for you and project priority listing. And we could talk about it again in October with the idea, then we'll know what we get it, if we got the grant. They'll also have a better idea of enrollment numbers. We'll know more approximately what our ending fund balance actually was, so that we can address all of the things that we talked about in terms of making sure we're getting closer to that 8%, that we're keeping the ice cream money intact,
Sure. I just
So
don't want to
do-
see that go away.
Sure.
Well,
That's such a good thing for the community.
And I completely agree with you. At the same time, I think if you look at the activities he has planned out, maybe, once a month, versus every single day having an after-school program, I'm very much more of the mindset of, I want our 8%. I want a slush
Mhm.
that we need in case something wacky happens.
Mhm.
You just to be prepared.
No, I understand.
So.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's just a,
But I completely agree. I mean, like, when I looked at his activities, every month, if we don't get the grant, should we look at potentially putting some funds towards that? Absolutely.
And I think it would be important for the board to know exactly what were the types of after-school activities that were offered. Because like I'm thinking they had the violin class, they had the sewing class where boys and girls were learning
the robotics class.
the robotics
Yeah.
class, Cody. Yeah.
The coding, all that stuff is.
and that was all funded through that.
Mhm.
I couldn't believe how much we got.
Yeah.
It was just, it was so cool.
Yeah,
It was
and it might be if we do get the 85,000 with then
That-
the amount of money that you feel comfortable putting towards that we can still offer very robust opportunities for them. So
Yeah,
we'll definitely do the research.
yeah, I was just
Okay.
gonna say, if they do that, then.
Yeah.
We'll,
We'll do the research.
Yeah.
Okay. Henry, did you want to give an update about how the first bond advisory committee
Sure.
went?
It was, I was pleasant to see faces I've never seen before.
Awesome.
So that was the cool part of everything and things there. We had a guy that's a contractor, so perfect, Russian contractor on top of that. So, that was really cool to see. And people that were, no skin in the game. They have no kids. Some don't have kids in the district and things like that. And they're putting their time in. 3 years of their time they're putting in. So I didn't know that, by the way.
Oh, you're committed now, elected to mention that.
But overall, it was good. I mean, everything was just introductory. It was just a force, basically a meeting, what they're gonna be, what it's gonna entail for them and things there. They went over what they can and can't do. So yeah, but no, it was neat to see that we got, and we have a lot of people that applied for
Yeah.
this. And that was another cool part of it too. So,
That's
yeah, so it was nice. I think it's gonna be a good group. I think they're all gonna have, some good input and, some opinions. So that's,
And you'll get a draft, well, not a draft, a copy of the minutes from the meeting at your next board meeting. So we had a lot of meeting minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway. But it's more informal, that it's not like they're gonna approve the minutes or, that they will make sure that they're correct and that it's a committee, it's not an actual governing body.
But they'll be in our board packet, so we
Yes,
can see
uh-huh.
everything. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Okay, I guess you're
We're
on
on
to your
the consent.
consent items. One thing I wanted to point out, so Andrew's not here tonight. I do have some things he asked me to share. And so, he had some other commitments, and so he's gonna come next meeting. But that's why I wanted to ask the kids about how were the cell
cell
phones.
phone thing.
Andrew's not here to speak on it. He was gonna, share with you that, 7.5 is the, graduation date would be on Friday, June 6th at 7 PM as opposed to that Saturday. When he asked my opinion, I said I didn't really have an opinion other than making sure that you publicize it really well and immediately. So that, because we are changing. Some of the highlights is that it does make it easier for staff to stay and participate in graduation because they're not coming back for another day. And then 7 o'clock at night, people can get here after work. People are traveling, that might be a bit more difficult compared to if it's Saturday morning. But also apparently the senior parents are also requesting to have this change made. So,
I'll make it easier for parties the next day. That way they can all plan all day.
It makes it a lot easier for the overnight party thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then
you
also
just go straight
family
from there.
celebrations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
also really
Separate.
convenient because other schools that like friends have graduations at, like Canby, they are always on the same day, so they can attend each other's graduation.
Yeah.
So I know that like last year, I had a lot of people say, why can't we move it around a little bit for that reason? So I think that's a good idea.
So that was the only thing on your consent agenda that I was, wanted to make sure, that-
7 PM.
yeah, that I wanted to make sure I pointed out to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does anybody have questions other than that?
You got it. Good. I move that the Jervis District #1 Board of Directors approve the consent items as listed in Mass. 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, and 7.5.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
I
I
You're onto your policies, second reading, starts on page 40 and goes to page 167. Have to read the paper later.
A lot of poetry.
The only one that I want to pull out so that we have a little more time to read it is that
It's the DJC
what
bidding
page is that?
requirements, 70.
That way we don't have, we could do the other Yeah. bidding requirements.
Oh,
Is that 41?
It's 41.
41.
Oh,
Oh,
is it
that's
40?
70.
Yeah,
Okay.
that one, that one's the one that's made the lead.
BJC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so. Do the first one.
Special procurement and exemption from. Which is a long.
So what, and Scott, I made you have the ability to speak, if the board has questions. So the policy that they have a question about is their bidding requirements and requisitions. So that's the document that we're using primarily, for bond project components.
I figured
And that's why you
41.
hadn't really seen it.
Special.
that's what
Yeah.
triggered it for me. Yeah.
So are there specific things that you had questions about? I know the amount is higher, 250,000.
It's totally fine.
Huh?
I mean, I'm okay. Like, I just wasn't able to get through it fully.
Okay.
That was the only thing, but if we
Oh,
need,
no, I read this one already.
You're thinking maybe on the deleted one? You guys are, because we're deleting one too, on the.
Because if you adopt a new one, right, you have to.
No, I
delete
completely read this one the last
Oh,
time,
okay.
completely.
okay.
I'm good with it.
Okay,
Then-
disregard Scott, we're fine.
Sorry.
No, I did, I went through. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't go through this time around, but I
Yeah.
did last time.
Okay, then,
Okay.
but then does that open it up for anything that on the other ones that I have some questions on?
Oh, of course, you can always ask questions on any of them.
All right, so on page 45, it's the student health services.
Page 45.
Yeah. And it looks like it's replacing,
Uh-huh.
okay. At the end of the first paragraph, it says, the plan shall describe a health services program for all students at each facility that is owned or leased where students are present for regular programming. Why are we using the word programming?
So they have that word in there because maybe there's an alternative ed program where kids attend, or like WACA is a program, not a school.
Okay,
And so WACA would be responsible for their program for kids when the kids are there. But usually what they do is they defer back to the sending school.
the way this reads sounds to me like we're programming them in this, and it's just very weird.
Oh, like I'm
Very odd.
brainwashing children.
Yes, it's-
Okay.
Yeah.
The plan shall describe a health services program for all students at each facility that's owned or leased where students are present for regular programming.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that.
I get it.
My take, what
Yeah.
I'm saying is I'm
They
here
Yes.
to look at
Yeah.
what a parent will come and
Yeah.
ask.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was that was
Yes.
one.
Okay.
Number 5,
Like it.
describe how services for all students, including those who are medically complex, medically fragile, or nursing dependent. Are we talking about, and those who have approved 504 plans? Nursing dependent, as in we have someone who's nursing.
No,
But
nursing,
is this
Nursing.
nursing as in they need to have a nurse with them. or they
Okay.
need to have a nurse.
nursing
administering.
dependent?
Nursing.
Totally
So you
strange.
should-
Can
Yeah.
we like fix that?
But I will ask.
I mean,
So
what other
we-
word would
What
be
what
used?
is your? I was gonna say, are we?
Because nursing, you're thinking of
Yeah.
breastfeeding,
That it, to me,
Yeah.
it sounded,
Okay.
it sounds like breastfeeding, honestly.
but.
And it happened like
It's on 11
several
too.
different times.
Times, yeah, it does.
So like when you're reading it, if
Medical
you're just,
personnel? Confused.
Well, I was gonna say, I think we're limited to
Yeah.
what type of editing.
Oh, I
we
know.
can do to these.
I know, that's why I don't.
Right. We're on the
But-
record saying we actually read it and we're paying attention, so.
So you know what you could
That would
do? You
cheaper
could go ahead and adopt the policy.
Yeah.
And then Sandra and I can do the research about the verbiage and we can report back to you. If it's something we can change,
Yeah.
then you can bring up the policy to make it edits
Yeah.
and and then you could re-adopt it the next meeting.
Yes,
Does that work?
I agree.
I mean, that's
That's
all we're
also
asking.
in number 11 as well on that.
So we're looking at programming in the paragraph, number
Programming,
5
nursing dependent.
and number 11 is, nursing dependent.
That's
is
Put that in my brain,
Yeah.
that sounds
Yeah.
terrible.
I
No,
do,
no, nursing dependent now breastfeeding.
no, I mean, I'm saying this is totally
Yeah.
strange verbiage.
Hey,
and
no, I
I mean,
agree.
we have found some weird stuff.
It's just like that
Got it.
last one
Yeah.
where, but anyway, I don't want to get into it.
Okay,
The next thing that I'll share the editing things with you that I saw.
Okay.
Like the spellings and the.
Yeah, the typos.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna worry about that. Let me see what my other one was that I had.
I had a question on your emergency plan and first aid stuff. It says, this is second paragraph.
On what page?
50, making sure I'm on the
Yeah.
right one.
Okay.
It says copies of the emergency plan will be available in every school office and other strategic locations throughout the district. Parents or guardians will be informed of the district's plan. So how do you, I mean, when you inform, is it put on the website?
Supposed to be on the website as well as in the parent notification handbook.
Okay. See, where's my other?
Everything else is. I was okay.
I just had a weird question since I was reading the criminal records checks and fingerprinting.
What page is that?
55, 56. It's more just random. So, okay, you get fingerprinted. I understand that. You go get your stuff checked. Do you do that? Do you do that just once or do you do that?
It's good for every 3 years.
Every
Is that
three,
right?
okay, thank you. That's what I was.
And I think it does say that in there.
For employees, we don't. like,
Yeah,
do it
employees,
over-
no.
Once you're.
Once you're an employee,
Yeah.
you don't.
Right.
But if you ever move out of the district,
And you come back.
We do.
you do. Okay, that was kind of what my question was.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And when I read it, I interpreted it exactly the way you guys.
okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure that one out. Okay, thank you.
So the action item language, when you're ready for it, is on page 69. And you don't have to read all those policies. You could just say as listed,
Yeah, what page is that?
69.
Thank you.
Is that right,
No,
Sandra?
that's the.
That's the
that's
deletion, sorry.
That's okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
40,
40,
40.
40.
40. There we are.
Have we always deleted when we put through?
We're
Well,
supposed to, because then you
yeah.
have to.
Right, but
all of it.
that's what I'm thinking.
But we
So
didn't have that many before. It was
Okay.
just maybe a couple. That's. all
Yeah,
like
usually
it.
they're not deleted, usually they're just adjusted.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's
So,
okay.
Yeah, I don't really remember.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like the first time that I have seen that many.
that would.
Yeah, that works.
Did you say I don't have to read out?
You
the
just say
numbers,
as listed,
as
yeah.
listed? Okay. I move that the Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors adopt and or approve changes to policies as listed in action item 924-8.1.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second, any discussion?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do you have a discussion?
Aye. Honestly, I'm jumping ahead.
All right.
All right.
So then it's onto your deletions, which is.
Deletion.
So really, I didn't have to read any of these deletions if I really should.
Oh,
Because they're all
maybe
being
you didn't want to
deleted.
delete something, you know.
Well,
You were just an overachiever on that one.
Okay.
All right, so that one's on 60, or no,
Was that
69.
69.
Thank you.
beautiful, 155.
I move that the Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors adopt and or approve changes to policies as shown in action item 9-24-8.2.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Item numbers seem like it was the same as the last one.
It was 8.1, I think.
Okay, thank you. Great.
Okay. Done.
Now you're on to your goals and my goals. So that's on page 25 on. So as a review, we talked about that last summer, and I think the previous summer as well, you had done a self evaluation led by OSBA on how you were doing in relation to the standards that school boards are held to. And a year ago in July, you had identified the standard 2 and standard 10 as the areas that you wanted to focus on, because your self-evaluations indicated that those areas were kind of the ones that maybe need a little work. When we talked about it at the work session, you thought that you would like to continue along with those 2 standards for this coming year. And so I told you I would draft some goals around that, incorporating some of the things that you did last year, adjusting them a little bit for this year, and then I would craft my goals to support you in those things. So you don't have to adopt these tonight. You can wait until October. That's totally fine. But it's a starting point.
You guys have questions?
No.
I didn't either.
No, I was fine with that.
One must be. Thanks, Bob. That's great, right? Oh, that's nomination.
I know. They get in here.
Progress report.
Yeah, it is right before.
There it is.
And then my goals are attached to that action item, so I just wanted to go over those. Then that's page 127. So obviously I'm in charge of facilitating implementation of all the goals and the measures in the strategic plan, and then supporting those other administrators who are responsible for certain components, like Dusty and the equity team. There's that. Tony in goal 3. So drilling down into that more specifically, I want to continue to prioritize a focus on improvement of student achievement in the areas of reading and math. K-8, not that 9-12 is not a focus, but we've got, you're going to see the improvement in 9-12 because K-8 is getting better. Continue to work with high school administrative team on academic improvement and rigor. Those are really difficult conversations for them to have with staff and parents about what that looks like, and the expectation of you're going to have to put more work in to get where we need you to be. And then I had talked to Creighton about this, and we know, I've mentioned this a little bit before. We know that what has happened at the border areas of the states, like it takes usually a couple years for that to make its way up to us. So this fall, as Dusty said, we had 6 more kids enroll than we were expecting, who are considered newcomers. Not only do they not speak any English, but many of them have never even been to school, and they're like 5th graders. They don't even know what the systems are. And so that is quite a range of having to support if you're a kindergartner up through a 5th grader. We have increased numbers at the high school as well. I think just only a couple at the middle school. Right now, we have support systems in place that we can manage this, but in talking with Creighton, I'm concerned. I don't want our classroom teachers to be overwhelmed with not having enough resources or supports to help these students access their education. But I also don't know what a good model would look like for a district our size. I don't want to just create a whole new program and hire $200,000 worth of staff, and then, in 2 years, we can't afford it. So I'd like to spend this year working with Creighton to research what are best practices, what are other districts doing? And then maybe even pilot something, soft rollout, so that then when we get to budget time, we kind of have an idea of what we need to do.
I totally support that.
I think that's overthinking like usual, so good jobs.
I think it's part of our inclusion process as well, right? We're trying to be mindful of who's coming in, so. So then I also need to continue to work on a strong, developing a strong administrative leadership team, so. I feel like we're really starting to hit our stride. And so there's some work I want to do with, again, teacher evaluation and observation, and how do I get feedback, and how do I support teachers in really elevating their instruction and learning. And then, of course, facilitating the progress toward your goals. Whatever that is.
Kids that come to that age and never finished school, we've never had that, have we?
We've had like 1 or 2 kids at a time. I think that as you see where our students are coming from and how long the journeys have been for some of them, it's not just like a month long, it could be a multi-year process with them. And so, yeah, they haven't been going to school.
Coming in from a different country.
Yeah, all of that, yeah. And just some trauma with that, right? The whole upheaval,
Everything about that,
Yeah.
the whole journey.
Yeah. so.
Yeah, is any more discussion on those, or can I make a run?
Motion away.
I move that the Jervis School District Number 1 Board of Directors adopts the superintendent and board goals as shown on agenda item 9-24.8.3.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
thank you.
Now, I know y'all are wanting to serve on the OSBA Board of Directors. Okay, well, you guys can just skip right over 8, 4, and 8, 5 then if you like. That takes you on to 8, 6, the approve the bond management plan. It's the same plan that Scott shared with you at our meeting in August. We have, but Scott's here tonight with us. If you have any questions about the plan. On 137, the plan starts on 138.
Yes. Is everybody good? Questions?
Nope.
Nope, good, good.
I move that the Jervis School District Number 1 Board of Directors approves the bond management plan as shown on agenda item 9-24.8.6.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any more discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
All right, your next possible action item is approve architect for bond work. And Scott provided you some notes about the process. Scott, do you want to share about how the process worked?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is important that your school district go through a public procurement process for all such contracts. And I believe I shared with you last time that we call our request for qualifications for multiple professional service contracts. Separately from that, we did a request for proposals, or an RFP, for architectural services, because those do follow a slightly different procurement method. And so we're following the state rules in respect to that. The services were advertised publicly in both the Woodburn Independent and the Daily Journal of Commerce, as is required by state rules. That was on August 14th and August 21st. And then we conducted a walkthrough with all the interested architects, and you had about 17 or 18 architects show up for that walkthrough. That was on the 22nd. And as normally happens, there's a bit of attrition when the actual proposals are due on the 5th. And we had 9 proposals, which is still very good participation. And so those proposals were reviewed and they were scored, and then a short list of firms for interviews was generated, and that's fairly typical. You certainly reserved your right to not interview, but because you had multiple firms that had good experience, your district elected to go ahead and interview, and they interviewed 3 firms: AC and Company out of Salem, Arcadis Architects, who you worked with previously in the pre-bond efforts, and then RSS Architecture that was out of Woodburn, a smaller firm. But they had also done work for Jervis in the past. And so interviews were conducted on that just this last Tuesday. And Arcadis really was sort of head and shoulders above the other 2. Your district was unanimous in their selection. They just really came with a lot of innovative ideas. They have a very strong approach towards cost control, schedule adherence, and communications, which is all going to be vital in your program. And just overall, I thought was a great selection by your school district. We did not score the interviews. We were just facilitating the process. But I'm happy to take any questions.
Was that you, Dandy? And did you guys scored when you guys did the interview though? That was you and Karen?
We
Committee.
I was curious.
Oh, who was on the
Oh,
committee
no,
that
we-
interviewed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Scott and Adam were
Okay.
both there,
Mhm.
and myself and Karen. Gus, Creighton. I'm going down through the list. of
Sorry, I'm
members.
I'm
Yeah.
just curious.
Yeah,
I mean,
uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
okay, and you, Davey was, Scott was facilitating.
Yes, uh-huh.
And you guys were scoring who you.
We didn't score,
Or
No,
but we
yeah.
listened to
Just the
their
proposals were scored, because
Yeah, okay.
all of these firms are capable of doing the work. So
Mhm.
the proposals were scored to pick the top 3 proposals. And then the interview was not so much a scored interview. They were asked 3 questions about cost containment, about schedule adherence, and about communications with stakeholders. And they were asked to spend their 30-minute presentation answering those questions, anything else that they thought we needed to know about. So in the end, because they're all capable of doing the work, you're really picking somebody that is the best fit for your specific projects and your specific community. And that's not uncommon to not necessarily score an interview. It's more of a meet and greet, trying to get to know them and understand how they can help you be successful in your bond.
And so Arcadius, if that's Rebecca Stuker and her group, so they're the ones that have been working with us with
Oh,
facility
okay.
management, the pre-bond
Okay,
planning
that helps.
committee.
Perfect.
That's who they are.
Good.
The second company that we interviewed, AC and Company, they're like Scott wrote here, Salem-based firm.
Yes.
And then RSS Architecture, that was the group that they had done some work for the district before. So like they did the design for the cafeteria and gym when that bond was passed. He also did the work at the middle school. And so, we wanted to honor that we had worked with that person before and provided an interview opportunity.
No, I mean, I'm totally, I was just asking
Yeah.
about the process.
No,
I
for
think
sure.
Rebecca is, and her firm has done a phenomenal
Yeah.
job, so.
Yeah, and this was a good little recap right here on the interview piece, Scott, so that was helpful for me. And I'm glad to see that we have, somebody from Woodburn or Salem in the local areas, which I think is super important, but definitely, the Portland
Yeah.
is, they're already in the know, so that's great.
Mhm.
Okay.
Verbiage for the action item is on page 167.
Thank you. Move that the Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors approves the bond architect for bond work as presented by Mrs. Stevens.
Okay.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay, the policy first reading, there's just 2. I have any questions about that. And I was gonna ask Scott if he wanted to give an update on the quarterly meeting, but I think he had to go, so he left. And it's basically what Henry shared. It was great.
It was.
Okay, so then the last discussion item is 9.3, your board scholarship application, really rough draft. I highlighted, if you go to page 170. So I thought when I'm envisioning this application that you would always have a cover page like this. And that as the person that you're naming the scholarship in honor of that year, that paragraph will change. So obviously, if this is kind of the direction you want to go, I work with Melissa and the family to talk about some of the things that we would highlight in the description of Maria's service to the district and community. And then the actual, this is not what the application is going to look like structurally. I just don't have the capability of making boxes and lines and things like that. So, yeah. Yeah, it's stretching.
I'm working it.
I get my ruler with my little transparent paper, and so if this works, if you think like these are the appropriate categories, then I would take it over to the counselor at the high school and ask her like, okay, what's missing? What should we add? What do you think? And then I'll bring it back to you in October.
I thought it looked great, so I didn't have anything to add. Did you? I mean, nice job.
Thanks. Yeah.
It's, there's a lot here already that they have to fill out. So I was
Yeah,
like,
I know.
you're gonna have to want to really do this.
2 letters of recommendation.
Maybe not. I mean, you don't have to, but
No, I like.
Don't they normally get?
I like teachers and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna
Usually that won't be hard, because a lot of them get.
Oh, no, they always. get
No,
the
no,
teachers.
but
I was just saying-
I like the fact that you're going outside of
But
your
you're
school though too. Because it
Yeah.
basically says, you need to go out. I mean, you
yeah.
have to learn how to
Yes.
communicate with other people, so
Yes.
that's, yeah, I like
That
it.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks good.
Without lines and all.
No lines and check box.
Yeah, yeah, it's all good.
That's funny. Okay, so that is the end of your regular agenda. So I told the guy to be here at 7:30. He's coming by Zoom. I could text him.
May I use the restroom?
I have to stuff.
Right.
So,
Well,
So, we can adjourn then.
yes.
So we're adjourned at regular
Bye,
meeting
Carrie,
for
thank you.
5 minutes.
Yeah.